Hello friends, today in this tutorial I'll be showing you that how to build multiple tabs layout inside React.js. So basically this will be the demo of the application. So there will be multiple tabs out there. So basically this is a layout you have seen in many applications inside in the internet. So this is the first tab and it has its own title, and this is a content. The second tab, so once again there is has its own title and the content. This is the third tab. You can see that this has its own title and the content, and this is the fourth tab. You can see that it has its own title and the content. So this is multiple tabs out there. So each and every tab there is dynamic content out there. So this is built using pure React.js. So we are not using any sort of third-party library. So we have styled it using pure CSS. So this is giving the look of a material tab layout. So it has multiple tab layouts and which has its own title and content. So basically we are making use of JSON objects, and there are 4 objects out there. So each and every object has its own properties such as title and the content. And this is a second tab which has its own title and the content. This is a third tab. This is a fourth tab. So we will try to build this from scratch inside React.js. So all the source code will be there inside video description. So I have written a complete blog post here on my website. So if you want the source code regarding this video, you can go to the video description link to download all the source code. So inside this video description, I have given this. So let's start building this layout from scratch, guys. So first of all, you need to create a blank React.js projects. Let me delete all this stuff and start from scratch. Let me delete this folder. So now if you just write here hello world, so now you can see that, guys, this is a brand new React.js project. It doesn't have anything inside it. So first of all, we need to include a separate component for this. So we will simply give it a heading, h1 heading. So here we will simply say that React simple tabs component. So after this we need to include that component. So we will make a separate component which is called as tabs. So just include this. So now at the very top we need to make a components folder here in the source directory. So just make a components folder here, and inside this you need to make a file called as tabs.jsx. So JSX is a format of React.js. So inside this you just need to import the React library. So we will import React, and we will make use, first of all we will import React from React like this. So this will be a functional component. So basically const tabs. So this is an arrow function, and here first of all what we need to do is that we need to simply return a simple component here, and inside this we will simply say this is the tabs component. So here we need to export it so that we can include it inside the main file. So we will simply say export default tabs. So now this is the custom component, guys. So now we can include this inside our app.js file. So we can simply say that at the very top we can import this component by importing it, import tabs from, and here we can say dot slash component slash tabs. So now if you refresh the application, you will see that, guys, this React simple tabs component will be showing here. So this is the h1 heading here because we are surrounded this. You will see that tabs component. So you can see that. So now guys, we need to uh, define this functionality inside this individual component, which is tabs. So here we will make array of objects. So each object has its own property. So here we will simply say const current tab and set current tab. So for this we will be using the useState hook. So useState. So this will be automatically imported from React.js library. You will see that useState. So here we will pass the first tab as the active tab, which will be selected by the user when you load the application for the very first time. So then we will initialize the array of tabs here. So this will be an array of objects. So each object has its four properties. First is the ID, which is unique identifier, which is 1. Then we can give it a title to the tab title. So this will be simply tab1, and inside this we will can give it a title that this is title1, and put a comma and content. So here we can simply say that this is content of tab1. So this we can repeat it 3 more times guys, because there will be 4 tabs. So you can put a comma and repeat it. For the second tab we can give it an ID of 2. Tab title will become tab2. Title will become title3, and the content will become this is content of tab 2. Just to save some time, I can copy this. So put a comma. So here we can just change these values to 3 and 3. Three. So now we have 4 objects, guys. You can see that this is an array and it contains 4 objects. Each object has its 4 properties: ID, tab title, title, and content. So 4 objects are there. So just change this to 4 here. So now we can use this inside our component, and simply what we can do is that here we can use a class which we will define it inside app.css. So we will initialize this class, which is container, and inside this we will again have a different class which will be called as class name tabs. So inside this tabs class, guys, having we will loop through this array. You can see this is the array here. So we need to loop through each object which contains inside this array. So for looping through, we will use the map method, which is very much useful in React. So for each object, we will have the tab property and the index property. So this will be a arrow function. So just do this. So here what we need to do is, guys, you need to initialize a simple button at the very top. So this button will be having the key parameter. So whenever you loop through, you need to just provide the key parameter, which is the index. Then you need to provide the ID of the tab, which is selected. So this is coming through tab.id. And then we will have a special attribute to it, which we will define it as disabled, which will be whenever you select that tab, this will be highlighted. So for highlighting it, we need to compare it. If the current tab is equal to, we will compare it like this dynamically. We'll pass it. So basically it is saying that it will disable whatever the tab is clicked. So if you click the third tab, that tab will be disabled, and it will be having different CSS class. So it is just comparing it. Current tab property. So after this, we will attach is on click property. So whenever you click, what happens? So on click. So on click is the event handler. So when we click the button, what happens? So we need to attach a different function for this. So which will be handle tab click. So this is a custom function which we will define, and the label of this button will be simply the title of the tab, which is tab dot tab title. That's it. So now guys, we need to define this function which is handle tab click. So whenever you click the tab, what happens? So right here you need to define this function at the very top. So here we will simply say that const handle tab click, we will pass the e parameter. So here we will simply set the current tab to whatever the ID which is passed to it, e.target.id. That's it. So basically we are using this method of the hooks here, and whatever ID is passed here. So we have attached the ID to each and every tab. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So whichever the button is clicked, that ID will be passed inside this e parameter. So we are initializing it e.target.id. So that current tab will be equal to that. So here we will compare it inside the disabled condition like this. So it is all interconnected. That's it. So now basically if you just refresh your application, you will see these four tabs. So now basically, because this tab 1 is disabled by default because we have passed it inside our hook function. So if I change this value to 2, so this second tab will be disabled. If I refresh it, you will see that the second tab is disabled. So if you click any individual tab here, that tab will be disabled. You can see that. So this is a effect that we have made here. You can see that using pure JavaScript, JSX, and React.js. And now we need to individually show the content of each and every tab, which is very easy. We will have another div for this, for the content. So right here at this bottom, we will say content. We will initialize the class name to content. So again, we will use the map method to loop through the array, which is we will pass the individual tab and the index, which is stored inside I. So this will be a arrow function. So here we will compare if the current tab is equal to the tab ID which is passed. So if the current tab, if you clicked the tab, let's suppose if you have clicked the first tab, if it is equal to the tab ID to that, and also the second condition is that we need to show that div. So close this div. So inside this we need to show the content of that. So we will attach these classes which we will style it inside JavaScript. So don't worry. So inside this paragraph we will simply show the tab title, and inside another paragraph we will show the actual tab content. So here we will simply say tab dot content. That's it. This is all that you need to do. So basically inside this condition, what we are telling here is that, so whichever tab you click, let's suppose you click the first tab, you need to show its title and the content. So it is just saying this inside this condition. So now if you see here what happens, so if you now click the first tab, uh, for this I think you need to close this as well. Let me paste this once again. Condition. you do need to provide the key parameter as uh, I was forgetting. If you just see here, when I written this code here, I was forgetting this div. I need to initialize this div. So I need to surround this. So whenever I forgot this div. So we need to put the key parameter. So this will be equal to the index number. That's it. That I was forgetting. So if you just see here, let me copy this once again. So you need to provide this key parameter, which is the actual index. So inside this, we are comparing it. So whichever tab is clicked, you need to show its title and the content. You will see that tab.title and tab.content. So this is all that you need to do. If you see here, now it is completed this functionality. So this is multiple tabs layout inside React.js. So when you click the first tab, this will show its title and the content. When you click the second tab, it will show its title and the content. So now we just need to style this using CSS. It's very easy. So first of all, hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well, guys. So in order to style this, we will make use of app.css. So here, what we need to do is that first of all, we need to remove the margin and the padding. So this needs to be applied to all the elements. So we will put star here and we will make the box size into border box. So here we will style the body, which we will provide a background color to it of black. So if you see here, now it is styling here. So just wait. So it is not styled because we haven't included this file. So we need to include this file, import app.css. If you include this, you will see that now these styles are applying here. After this, what we need to do is that we need to change the font family to Roboto. If that font is not available, then we will use sans serif and we will provide a margin of 20 pixel. So we will style the h1 heading here. We will change the color to white. We will provide the font weight property to 500. Text align we will change to center. So you will see that it is styling here. So margin we will change to 60 pixel 0. So now basically we will target the container class here. So we will change the width to 960 pixel, margin to 0 auto, and then we will target the dot tabs class, which is we will change the display property to flex, justify content to space between. So basically this will provide some spaces inside the individual tabs here. So after this we will target the individual buttons inside the tabs class. We can change the background color to light gray. We can remove the border. Color we can change to this color, which is 888, this gray color, and cursor we can change to pointer. Padding we can give to 25 pixel. Width we can change to 100%. Background color we can change this to this color RGBA, which is red green blue alpha, 255 comma 255. And also we can provide a transition effect, animation effect. So this will be all 0.5 delay second, and animation type will be ease out. So if you see here, this has some kind of animation to it. If you see here, you will see that we need to define this animation, which is when you hover onto this, what will happen? The color will change to white. Background color will change to RGBA. You can see that this is the animation effect. When you hover onto the buttons, the color will change to white. You will see that. So now we need to have that disabled effect. So whenever you click individual tab, you need to highlight that tab. So for doing this, it is very easy. We will target this disable class, which is by using disabled attribute. And here what we need to do is that we need to just change its background color just to highlight it. We will use linear gradient for this. Function, and here we will provide this 245.39 degree, this hexadecimal. So this is just a little more complicated, so I need to paste it here. So color I will change to white, text color. So now if you see, whenever we click individual tab, this will have this linear gradient effect animation, background color. So this is exactly what we want. And then we can change the title by using the title class. Color we can change to black, font size to medium, margin bottom 20 pixel, font size we can change to 20 pixel, font weight we can change to 600. So this will have this title here, you will see that. Similarly, this will have for the content as well. So if you see here, let me paste it for the content as well. So this CSS is not really important for this application, so you can just copy paste from the website. So that's it. You will see that this is the effect. So I just wanted to convey the functionality, the logic, which is JavaScript code. The CSS, you can just copy it from the website. The link will be there inside video description. So this is the multiple tab layout inside React.js, which you can build from scratch without using to any use third-party library. So I hope that you like this video. Please hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next video.